Ah merde, putain, je vais peut-être éteindre.
On est live, we're live.
Moi, je vais éteindre mail pour pas que ça... J'ai des notifications. Ok, tac. Voilà.
Okay. We are live right now on both YouTube stream and Instagram. So good evening, good day, good morning, everybody, wherever you're watching us from. This is the first conference of this week in Confluence, and we will be talking today about international collaborations in publishing, in SFF publishing. And we are very happy to have two panelists today. We are very honored for having so Lukas Dubro from Kapsel magazine in Germany and Philippe Thiollier from l'Asiatech editions in Paris, who have last year began a collaboration around what is known now as l'abécédaire de l'imaginaire, where writers from different countries collaborate. So l'Asiatech is a publishing house specialized in France in publishing authors from, well, mostly from the eastern part of the world, Asia, Middle East, and other countries, and in trying to get these writers known in France. Kapsel does an amazing work in sci-fi publishing in Germany. I can let you both introduce yourself maybe a little better than I can do. So whichever one of you want to begin.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Romain, for welcoming us on this live stream Confluence. It's a first for me, like being on live stream. So I like experimentation, so it's a good one. So it's great to be here and great to talk about international collaborations. I must say, publishing literature from China, Korea, Taiwan, India, Jordania makes that I have international collaborations quite often, but for the first time we decided to do a collaboration between a French publishing house and a German publishing house to do something together. That's one of the things we will talk tonight. And now, Lukas.
Yeah. My name is Lukas Dubro. I'm doing Kapsel magazine. We are from Berlin. I live right now in Paris. This is also one of the reasons why we decided to do this collaboration together. And Kapsel is dedicated to science fiction from China. We started in 2017 as a magazine. And right now we are doing books in also books in German and in French, and also organizing events like workshops, discussions. So the project evolved. It was my master thesis in the beginning, and right now we are between China, Germany, and France. And it's also my first time on a live stream. Sorry, I just
Don't worry. It's only family will see this. No, sorry, everybody will see this. So we usually begin these conversations with a lighter kind of question, but this time we choose to ask this. So if you were a letter of the alphabet, Latin or whichever you want, or a character, ideogram, which one would you be and why?
I start. So here we have an A, but I would go with U, like U, like in Utopia, because like working with all these great writers from China, with the illustrators we're having in the magazine and the books, and all the other people around the crew, especially, still feels like a dream to me. As I said, it was my master thesis in 2017. We started as a magazine. Right now it's books. In 2 years we will celebrate our 10th anniversary. So yeah, it's like still unbelievable where we brought the project to now.
Nice.
About me choosing a letter, I didn't really thought about it before starting now. So it could be a letter that we would choose in this imaginaries ABC, the abécédaire de l'imaginaire, but maybe a letter, let's take a letter that is very far so that we can just hope to go until there, the letter S. Let's hope we can make it until S at least, and then, of course. So S for spectrum. Spectrum is a word that has many meanings. It's interesting. It comes from Latin, specto, aspect, show, and it means ghost, and also the colors of rainbow. And yeah, it's very interesting. It's the fact that nothing is black and white. Everything's living things or not living things, even ideas, are a spectrum. For example, the spectrum of genders. Okay, that's just an opening of discussion, maybe.
Yeah, that's very nice, and it does ring with the kind of text and the stories you deal with in the project. And so the first question about letters, of course, was not innocent at all, because that's a way for us to start talking about the ABC of l'imaginaire, which is a French term that encompasses science fiction, fantasy, fantastic literature, pretty much everything where reality is partially, at least, made up with rules that differs from the usual ones. And so your main collaboration is this. And to begin the conversation, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the project, how it began, how it gestated in your mind, and how you started how it started to take form in your collaboration.
Okay, I think one big thing, it's another letter S. It's serendipity. And because Lukas entered l'Asiatech in 2022, just like popping in and saying, I had a project in Germany to bring together Chinese sci-fi literature, young authors from the new generation of authors in China, and it's very interesting, and I wanted to bring them to the knowledge of European readers, and I began in Germany, and now I am in France, and I have this booklet with a sort of attempt to make the project also in France, and I was interested. And 2 days later, I met a friend of a friend who's a teacher in Germany, and she said, "Oh, you met Lukas? He was my student in my university in Berlin." So the coincidence was really quite enormous, quite incredible. So that's perhaps the main reason we began this project. But Lukas.
Yeah, no, yeah, as Philippe said, I was looking for opportunities to bring all the great writers we have in the magazine from China, from Germany, the illustrators to France, because I moved here with my girlfriend and right now with my family, living in Paris, in Montreuil. And I thought, like, yeah, it would be really cool to present the writers and these illustrators in France. And after presenting it here, we kept in touch about it. And then one day I came back and we were asking Philippe for help to maybe give us a contact to a publisher. And then he said, you know what, let's do it together. And yeah, so I mean, Kapsel was about collaboration from the beginning. Mario Svenka, who does the design, is a good friend of mine. The person who put up the first issues of the magazine also was a really good friend. And Chong, who's doing the translation and was there also from the beginning, he also was like a good friend. He had conceptualized the whole project. So the project since the beginning has been about like collaboration. Right now in the crew is also Felix Meizufenne, who was there from the second issue on, and he knows so many great writers. He is such a great translator. It's also really great to have him in the project. And right now there's also Konrad Winkler doing some translation. So this is like the Kapsel crew, and right now we are like in Germany being published at Maru, which is a publishing house in Augsburg. We met Sarah at the art book fair, our first art book fair in Berlin. So yeah, I mean, it has always been about collaboration. And the cool thing here was like I met Philippe and we had like this coincidence. Then through a friend, I met a really great translator who translates from French to German. She's called Melina Young. Oder Melina Jung. And she helped us conceptualize the project from the beginning. We had Gwenole Gaffric, who's like the translator for Chinese science fiction in France. So here again, we had like a really great team. We didn't even start. And yeah, so maybe talk about the idea of the book. It's the same with like all the Kapsel publications. We have like the story in the beginning, and then everything in the book is kind of an answer or a reaction to the initial story with the topics, the images. Yeah, so it's like kind of mirroring, everybody's mirroring what they're seeing and reading in the story. And it's the same with this book. We have a story from Chuchoy, which happened to be also the first writer we published in Germany. And like the literature, like the, how do you say, like the text answers, the literature answers are coming from Aiki Mira, who's like a really great writer from Germany, one of the writers. And at the moment you will have her also, you will have them also in Confluence in 2 weeks. Yes. They're really great. And then we have Louvain. She's a writer, like also really familiar in France. Really great name, really great style. Which is also funny, lives in Munich right now. So there's also like this German France connection with her. And yeah, they wrote the answers, and we have like really great illustrations from. I mean, you can show them right on the screen. We have really great illustrations from the students of the art school in Strasbourg called Here, École des Arts du Rhin, voilà. And Marie-Luz Schaller, who was like also a good friend of us, she happened to be a teacher. She happens to be a teacher right now in Strasbourg. And one day she approached us and said, like, "Hey, I saw that you were working on another book with art school. Maybe that's something we could also do with my students." So they did. You can see them on the screen. Did some really, really great illustrations. And there were also a reaction to the initial story, but also reactions to the texts, like the stories that were written on response. Yeah, maybe you can call it stories. The stories by Louvain and by Aiki. So yeah, that's like the concept. And we started with an A, and the next one will be B. And then let's see how far we can take it. That was really long.
Okay.
So about my first, I spoke about a coincidence, but in fact, sci-fi was already in the place in l'Asiatech, very much thanks to Gwenaël Gaffric, because in 2015 he came to l'Asiatech, also popping in and saying, I come back from Taiwan, and there is an incredible literary scene there of writers that are not published in France, and we need to create a collection of literature from Taiwan. And we started a collection called Taiwan Fiction, and we started with Cheetah Ways, The Membrane.
Yes.
And The Membrane, it was really a shock to discover this novel. I really fell in love with the novel. And at this time, there was not really such a space for Sinophone sci-fi, even for sci-fi non-English, not translated from English. And I remember thanks to the Ministry of Culture of Taiwan, we had the opportunity to have Cheetah Ways coming to France. And I must say that I'm sure they won't be angry with me saying that, but Utopial, it took like months to get them inviting Cheetah Way at Utopial, even though they didn't have to pay the plane ticket. But he was invited, and he made really a very big impression there. Very big, and everyone said, "Oh, thank you very much to have how could I say, like, pushed for him to be invited."
Yeah, I remember reading the work back when it came out in French. Yeah, it was really a shock for lots of people this year. Actually, I remember it in the SFF publishing industry in France. It was like on everybody's mind. So yeah, it was really a shock. And things are changing slowly, obviously. And you spoke about Gwenaël Gaffric, which we will have in Confluence on Thursday to talk about Chinese literature. But he's also, he's almost single-handedly pulling Chinese literature into French-speaking, the French-speaking publishing industry, thanks to publishers like l'Asiatech and some others. So that's really, that's really a nice team you have going on here, and so and that kind of leads us to another question that we had, which is the importance of this kind of international collaborations, like the ones you're putting up right now, because obviously we have passionate people doing what they love, and but on another level, do you believe there is I guess, how would you think it's important to have this kind of initiative in the global context of the publishing industry and the readership globally in France and in Germany, of course?
Thinking globally is always difficult, like to to talk about markets or like what people want, or like sometime. And I must say, at l'Asiatech, we do things more on the feeling, and because we are interested in the stories, we have read or the people we have met, or like we feel that it's a good thing to do, a good experience to make, and we try to see if the public comes and see that it's interesting after. But I never think of, like, for example, Abécédaire de l'imaginaire it's really a prototype. We made it at a prototype. We hope for sure we make the second one and the third one and so on. And we hope that it's going to be easier to make the following one. And maybe think of changing the ways of the collaboration, maybe adding other countries in the discussion. For the moment, it's China, Germany, and France. Maybe it could become China, Germany, France, Italy, or I don't know. We can really move on in this cross views on the future that we make with Abécédaire de l'imaginaire. So I don't have ideas of global vision. That's what I wanted to say.
I just wanted to say, maybe to break down the question also, I mean, like why we're doing Chinese literature, for instance, and why we published it in Germany. When I started working on Kapsel in 2015 for my master's thesis, Liu Cixin wasn't released or published in German, and like the contemporary, like from the young contemporary dynamic sci-fi scene, there was no trace in German literature. So it was my aim, because I was into sci-fi literature back in the days. I was into Chinese literature. I mean, what I'm saying about Chinese science fiction is also true for Chinese literature in general. It's not so much translated. So bringing this literature to Germany was like one of the main aims in the beginning, because there are like so many like when I started, I didn't even know how dynamic and great the scene there is. I mean, it's young, super diverse people writing like super different texts, different topics, different styles. It's like you have the impression it's never ending actually, and there's always new names coming up which are cool and great, and it's like almost impossible to follow because there's so much going on. So this is like one of the main aims, like to make this literature readable in German. And I mean, you saw it already on the cover, and like we are putting a lot of stress on the design, and we are doing events, because what we also think which is important is like not only to translate but also try to sell this literature and to win people for this kind of literature that would never read science fiction because they think it's only about spaceships and aliens, and also to people who never in the big we don't have it here, but in the magazine we have the Chinese text also to show people what Chinese text looks like. For some people it's like the first time they read a Chinese text. So that's like Philippe is getting one of the big formats, so you can see it here. So it's like bilingual, so it's like the whole thing, it's like this. And this is how the big magazine looks like, the big format. So this is like, that was like the key moment of the whole project. And then we invited people, because it was a magazine, right? You have like letters to the editor, for instance. So I sent to, like, it was like also the joke, we already had the reaction to the story within the same magazine. So it's not one magazine later that you have the reaction, but you have it in the same number. So you have the immediate reaction. And so I gave the story people to read, and then asked them to just write something what they associate with the story. Like if there's a character they like, is there an idea they like, or something like this. So this is how it started, to like take text and just make people, like have people react to it, have like this kind of ping pong. And we started from there, and which was great. In 2019, we got the funding from the city of Berlin to invite all of our writers to Berlin for discussion.
Nice.
And we also did a workshop. I mean, there was discussions where we put the Chinese writers together with like people from Berlin, like researchers, artists, to discuss, like, and the starting point of every discussion was also one story. So they would discuss the story, we would listen to it, and afterwards talk about it, about the topics. Everybody could like give their input. And we also had workshops where we invited writers from Berlin, like young emerging writers, to write a reaction also to the stories. And the results were actually pretty great. Because like this is also what I like about Chinese science fiction, is like they're so rich in terms of images. It's really refreshing to see people who are not afraid of the future, who don't think technology is a threat and we're all gonna die, but like people who, you know, where humanity evolves, we travel to distant planets, we leave our body. Yeah, I mean, there's like so many cool ideas in the stories, and yeah, so people reacted to it, and the texts that came out of there were really, really great. And since then, we kept this in the magazine, in the books, and yeah, I mean, it's this initiative who like started this exchange, and I would say it's like yeah, until now it was really fruitful, and yeah, we want to continue with that.
My point on this is also because collaborating is also somehow making a sort of hybridation. So there was this initiative with Kapsel magazine, which is really great, of crossing views from China and Germany, now France, and that's really something that I wanted to like put me in the train of this in some ways, because for L'Asiatech it brings a sort of new, younger vision. L'Asiatech is a publishing house that has more than 50 years, and it's very interesting to like have also a fresh vision that comes and challenges us in our publishing directions, publishing ideas. We had already published sci-fi in the collection Taiwan Fiction. We have also another collection called the Novella de Chine, Novella from China, where we also published a sci-fi novella from Xiatia. But having a new collection such as Abécédaire de l'Imaginaire was really, for L'Asiatech, going to really make a hybridation of way of see thing and a way of publishing. So one of my main idea was first make from the coincidence we had something, like produce something out of this coincidence, and also like experiment an hybridation. What would come out from this initiative from Germany, which has a lot of ways of making things, all the team of Kapsel, and our team in L'Asiatech, which has also very different ways of doing things and seeing things. What will it make to work together?
Yeah, that's what is going to emerge from the from the mix. That's really what's really cool about this kind of initiative, I find, because you maybe I'm wrong, but you don't get what you expect at first. You're surprised and new ideas come up, and
Sure.
and that's also about how you discover ways of working, ways of doing your craft that differs from what you do in your own country. Because I would maybe guess you learned many things during these collaborations about the mindset of the other, maybe the specifics of the market in the other country, in the country of Germany or France, or different ways of working a book. Is it something that you actually felt, or did you find out that maybe you worked in similar ways?
No, I think we learned the hard way in some aspects. For example, let's take the graphic work. I mean, not the designs from the student, but the layout. We have someone at l'Asiatech, Jean-Marc Eldin, who's a great layout artist. I mean, he does very refined books for learning languages, illustrated books, text, novels, and essays, and he does it very well. And he has also a connection to comics, and he was really keen on having this experimentation of working with someone from Germany who does also this work. But it was somehow a bit difficult to have them working together. That's the reason of this prototype, and we will. Evolve for sure in the way we will settle the work all together, so that we can make some compromise and go on. But it was mostly very nice. But sometimes there was a bit some nervous reactions on results of things, and so. But it's a part of the process for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. Lukas, you have the same take on this, or?
I only can say again that this whole project was just an idea, and I like when you said that it's surprising and you don't get what you expect. What you said? I think the reason why it is so, because there's so many different people coming from so many different places, bringing their ideas into the project, and I had the idea to bring and translate these Chinese stories, but the rest was really open, and we tried to be really open to Marius, for instance, who's our designer. He knows so many great illustrators that are super avant-garde. Felix has this. He studied Chinese studies, so he's a sinologist, and he knows super well the language. He travels a lot there, so he brings all this knowledge to the project. There's Chong, who helps with the translation, who also helped conceptualize the project in the beginning, as I said before. And he studied German, so he's also super great between German. He helps. He has a super good eye for language details that I sometimes don't see. He gets a reference that I don't see, or that even Felix doesn't see, even though he knows a lot of stuff. So there's like, and then there of course is the editors and the writers, and it's like all like turning around these stories, and it works. I mean, like it's cool. Like what if I could say, like what the learning from this project, it's like really nice to create like an open space where everybody can bring. It's super important to talk, to find compromises, so everybody, of course, is happy, is seen. Yeah, I mean, this is what the project makes so great. And I mean, we could have been like super radical in with everything, like with the form and stuff, because we're just doing it mainly for our pleasure. It's also a point we're going to discuss later. I mean, it's like DIY. We got some funding. The books are selling. It's okay, but like, it's also like driven a lot by enthusiasm by everybody. So this is why it's also so important that everybody can bring their ideas and develop their ideas, because yeah, we can't pay a monthly fee or something. So it also needs to be this way, that it's like really open, so people can do whatever they like also, in the frame what is possible, of course. And like talking also about the book itself, I mean, what is so great about the stories of Luvan and of Aiki, they pick different topics from the story and developed it. I mean, Aiki, they were more writing about identity. That was like the main focus of their story. And Luvan, she was more focusing on the colonial ties in the story between the humans and the aliens. So they highlighted also stuff that they liked in the stories. Yeah, so it's just open, and I think, yeah, that's like really, really important.
Okay.
And also when we asked people to participate, like illustration or like a text, we give them a number of signs and say like, hey, do whatever you want, you know. Of course they're paid, but yeah, we don't say like we want it this way or that way. Sometimes it works. No, most of the times, not all the time. Let's say all the time it works, because we only work with really good people. Yeah, there was never a bad surprise. Also, when
So it's really an author's book in many ways.
Yeah,
it's not just a publishing experiment. It's also, you know, you're putting the authors and translators on, you know, in the spotlight, and that's really kind of cool. I would say. My next question would be more directed at you, Lukas, because you worked with an art school in Germany. We talked about it. Is there anything else you can tell us about, you know, the cross-media the cross-media side of the experience, and in the way the different art form actually mixed to produce a book at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm not repeating myself, but for us, it's it's like a big success when people who wouldn't read the stories that we publish read the stories that we publish. So like for me, it was the biggest or the greatest experience also, like when we we collaborated already with the Art University in Düsseldorf, in Strasbourg, and for this book that's coming out next month with 4 stories of Gusche, we collaborated with the art school in Leipzig. Like the greatest moments for me is just like being with the students. They all read the stories, they start to discuss about it, then seeing like what they make with the stories, seeing like how they illustrate them, how they discuss the illustrations, the ideas, how they try to shape what their ideas and stuff. That is like really, really great. And like for me, it's like still, like as I said, utopia. It's like you see people really reading this, discussing it, and bringing it to life with their own means. And this is really, really cool. And I mean, I don't know if it would work like this with other literatures, because what I find really strong is what I also already said. What is really cool in the stories is, or like what I really like about Chinese science fiction, is that the stories are so strong. The images in the stories are so strong, and so it's like also super easy to work with these stories, because you have like so many ideas floating around everywhere and so many entry points. This and again, I mean, in Kapsel, that was also part of the concept in the beginning, because also Marius Wenker, who does the design, he has like such a great, like he knows like so many cool illustrators. We put the rule that we don't put photos in the magazine, so it was from the beginning like it is in the old sci-fi, in the first sci-fi magazines, like only illustrations. And that also gives like a really specific atmosphere and style to, or like a really specific atmosphere to the whole product, to the whole book. So it's also key element.
Thank you very much for developing further on this. So the book came out a little more than 1 year ago, if I remember correctly. By now, you know, it has been sold in bookshops and some in conventions and festivals. So maybe you have now enough, maybe now you can tell how it was received by the audience, and especially if the French and German audiences reacted differently to the project, how it was received by the public, by the critics, and you know, if the two markets made the book two different objects because they were received very differently, or do you see it as a unique multilingual final object? Two questions actually in my formulation, but
yes. Okay, I will let Lukas have the German experience, and it's interesting, like right now, to talk together, because it's part of the hybridation. Because I guess there was a very successful reception in Germany with all the books you have made, and there is a big enthusiasm. You have participated to a lot of book fairs, different kind of book fairs, like some more arty, some more like book, and you had also the opportunity to invite authors in Berlin. With a situation you could do that, and it was great because it drew a lot of attention and enthusiasm also from the public. For us in France, it's for the moment, it's honestly still really a work in progress. We are, like I said, sort of old publishing house. We publish literature since about 10 years. In fact, we really began with Taiwan Fiction Collection in 2015, and that was one of my gestures, was to publish the membranes, as I said, and it was also to make a signal to the bookshops that we were publishing now literature and also some like very different, publishing Cheetah Ways, The Membranes, which is a queer sci-fi novel, was really different considering l'Asiathèque. And it was really a gesture to significate to bookshops that we were having new fields of publishing at l'Asiathèque. Before, we were mostly academic publishing language learning materials and bilingual books. Since 2015, we are making a progression into having this field of literature, and I think we succeeded. But we had really some success publishing literature, but still doing this experimentation of publishing with Abécédaire de l'Imaginaire is really still a big challenge. And I knew that this prototype would be still surprising in France as an object, as a kind of book, and also a kind of book published at l'Asiathèque. So it's really a challenge, and I still consider it as a prototype to base on it what we will do, trying to make the second one and the third one. So the reception was really good among the blogs, sci-fi blogs. We really had very good reviews. All the more, we were publishing also this sci-fi novella from China, from Xiatia, at the same moment. So there was really a focus and at this very moment. But still, considering the sales, it's not really enormous at the moment. So I really wish we can go on in the second, third, and make momentum for the collection. But it has to be, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, the publishing industry is, as always in crisis, so it's always difficult to be over optimistic when it comes to sales. But again, doesn't stop us from making things most of the time.
Sure. Yeah.
The cool thing in when we started with Kapsel is was also the beginning. I don't know. I mean, they already existed, but I sense it was also good timing when we started this magazine, because there was really this movement of DIY publishing, DIY magazines. There were bookshops. There are a lot of DIY art book fairs. And because of the illustrations and the cool design, we had access to these fairs, and they're still super important for us in Germany to publish or to push the project, because they're happening in big cities. They're also always very well visited by a lot of people, so it's a great opportunity to present the project to the audience who has never heard about it. And we also got really good response from the beginning, because it's Chinese literature and it didn't happen, it doesn't much happen, so there was some interest for it since the beginning. And but selling and marketing the book was a lot of hard work in Germany also. I mean, we did really every fair. We said yes to every invitation. We traveled a lot with the project, and we were lucky to get some funding, not only one times, but 3 times actually, and big budgets. So we could make a website, pay for translations, invite the writers, print also the books. So we had some really great starting help also that helped to consolidate the team kind of. but because like you also like you also sent us the question about the difficulties, and as I said before, I mean the project is like mainly driven by the enthusiasm of everybody. Like the moment I stop working, Felix stops working, Mario stops working, the project is over. And Chong also, like, it really depends on every member who's like of the crew. And Sarah, also a great editor in Sarah Kiesmeyer from Aro in Augsburg, our great editor or publisher. She puts also like so much energy and work and effort into the project. And the thing is, like, it's like really cool objects, but I think it will always stay niche. So we will always be kind of dependent on funding. I mean, this is great with the book. With the first book, we had like funding from the CNL, which is amazing. We got some really good feedback from the CNL for the project also. So for the translations, for instance, we're still dependent on funding. And of course, like right now, when we publish Kapsel, everything in the magazine is paid. There's nobody like except of the people who are doing who are editing the thing. But like everybody gets paid. Like the writers get paid, illustrators get paid, the designer gets paid, the translation when we get funding also gets paid. So we are still dependent on help, and that's like maybe one of the difficulties. So we always have to go out and ask for funding and market the project as much as we can.
Yeah, we'll those. I was gonna end with one last question about the main difficulties in such projects. Well, we talked about most of them. There's also the fact that it's an ABC, and so hopefully that's 26, sorry, 26 books for 26 years. And but on another scale, it is literary production is difficult. SFF literary production is especially difficult today, and you've raised the bar quality-wise and ambition-wise quite high. So obviously it's a great endeavor, but I really hope the BC and all the others will come out quite soon, and because us in Hikaya, we promote this kind of collaboration and work, and the more such collaborations will exist, the easiest it will get, because there will be pipelines of production between the different countries. There will be methods. There will be perhaps platforms and specialized. We will get more specialized, and so the more we talk to each other, the easiest it is to talk to each other. And that's when you said that you had trouble getting Cheetah away in France, that's also because everybody knows how to make an author come from the United States or from England, and you talk about China, or in our case you talk about the Arab-speaking world, and people don't even know how to book a plane, the plane ticket for them. Everything becomes difficult. So the more we do it, the more the easier it gets.
Yes, this is what I also wanted to say, because it sounded like really negative. But the good thing about like when you the good thing about like these difficulties is also that you always have to look for new collaborations. You have to evolve the project. You have to see like where we can we connect with people and stuff. So it also keeps the project vivid and also fuels the creativity of the whole thing, because like when you having troubles is also when you getting the most innovative. How do you say? Yeah.
Sure. Fear stimulates.
And then brings up good ideas. Yeah.
Yes. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are aiming for 60 minutes maximum today. So we're nearing the end of the conference.
Are there viewers?
I didn't get any questions from the audience right now. There were a bit of viewers on YouTube and Twitch, and some on Instagram, I think. So if any one of you want to ask something to our panelists, now would be the time. I will, however, start to slowly end this session by thanking you two for taking the time to talk with us and to have this conversation and to explain us how you created this very beautiful work and very beautiful collaborations. We really do hope it has a follow-up, if possible, 25 follow-ups. And we really hope to be able to have you for other subjects in future iterations of our Confluence festivals. We will have two others this week. Tomorrow we will have a panel of French-speaking people. That will be the exception for this month. We'll have a conference in French with French authors Sylvain Edgar and Julia Richard, and French scholar Anne Besson, and we'll talk about French fantasy. So this should be very, very interesting. For our non-French-speaking people, we will have subtitles in the replay so that you can enjoy the conference. And on Thursday, we will have, we talked about him, Gwenaëlle Gaffric and Julie Taubois, who are two scholars specialized in Chinese literature. Gwenaëlle is, as we talked about, a great architect of Chinese literature adaptation in France. We talked about Chitaway, but he also brought in the Three-Body Problems in France and translated it. And he's a university teacher here in Lyon. And so we'll talk about Chinese science fiction and fantasy online literature. So this will be more specifically about the different movement of writers who publish their work on the different online platform in China. It should be really, really cool and interesting. And that will be it for this week. Hopefully we will have another 4 before the end of the month. So everybody keep in tune. We'll be very glad to see you tomorrow, same channels and same time at 7 p.m. Parisian time. Thank you again, Philippe Thiollier from l'Asiatech. Thank you, Lukas Dubro from Kapsel. Thank you to Les Intergalactiques Festival, who are our partners for this conference run of 2025. I'll cut the live now. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, Romain, and thank you, Davide, and thank you, Hikaya also, and thank you for this collaboration we have all together.
Yes, and see you soon, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.